Hello students, this is Dr. Dakshayani, Assistant Professor from Department of Zoology, Maharani Science College for Women, Bengaluru. Today we shall learn about general characteristic features of class Aves under 3rd semester paper 3 Chordates and the syllabus prescribed by Maharani Cluster University. Class Aves includes exclusively the birds. Birds are the most beautiful, brilliantly colored and amazing creatures in the world. They are the group of two-legged, warm-blooded vertebrates constituting the class Aves under the phylum Chordata, and they are the most successful animals on the Earth planet. Birds get a living by moving in the air, which is the most difficult medium of all and also the most rewarding for freedom of movement. Birds are very active animals and flight enables them to avoid their enemies and seek new habitats, maybe which they are adapted to all kinds of habitats. Hence, you can find them everywhere in the world, from the frigid Antarctic to hot desert climates and even to oceans. There are few important traits that make a bird bird, and birds are very unique on the earth. When you talk about them, you will notice that all birds are characterized by having feathers or what you call plumage, which is the most obvious trait and found covered on the greater part of the body. And all birds possess toothless beaked jaws, wings, and they all lay hard-shelled eggs. The most interesting feature is that they show adapted skeleton, which makes bird to achieve body lightness and high power of strength. Nearly a century ago, where T.H. Huxley called birds as glorified reptiles, which means that birds have evolved from some reptilian ancestor and are more advanced over reptiles, and they also known as the masters of air. Ornithology is a branch of zoology that concerns the study of birds. It is estimated that the total number of bird species that have existed is 1,54,000, of which 9,600 are alive today. And it includes wide range sized birds from largest to smallest birds. To name a few, ostrich being the largest bird measures about 9 feet tall, and bee hummingbird is the smallest one, measuring only 2 inches in length. Coming to the origin of birds, birds constitute a very specialized group of vertebrates which have evolved from reptiles during Mesozoic era. Most of the paleontologists agree that the common ancestors of all existing birds was a type of small feathered carnivorous dinosaurs called theropods about 147 million years ago, and many hypotheses support the recent fossil discoveries. To name few genus of theropods: Archaeopteryx, Cardopteryx, Cynoornithorhynchus, etc. Cardopteryx, which means tail feather, is a genus of peacock-sized theropod dinosaurs that lived in early Cretaceous period about 124 million years ago. They were feathered and remarkably were bird-like in their overall appearance, but they were flightless, showing transitional state. It was recently discovered in China in 1997. Archaeopteryx. Two perfectly preserved specimens of Archaeopteryx were found in Bavaria in the fine-grained lithographic limestone of the Upper Jurassic period about 140 million years ago, and it was discovered by Andreas Wegener in 1861. It is the size of a crow with a long tapering tail and dwelt in forest. Though the body was covered with feathers, its body axis was elongated like that of a lizard and had clawed forelimbs and teeth, showing characters of both reptiles and birds. Means transitional stage. Coming to the general characteristics of birds. Birds are defined as feather-clawed, warm-blooded, air-breathing, oviparous, bipedal, flying vertebrates, keeping their body temperature always high and constant in correlation with their energy, and are found distributed throughout the world. Their body shape is spindle or boat shaped and streamlined, which provide less resistance while flying or during swimming, and body is divided into head, neck, trunk and short tail. In birds, the jaw bones are projected to form toothless beak or bill, which shows high modification depending on their feeding habit. Birds are bipedal flying vertebrates where forelimbs are modified to form wings, each bearing three clawless digits, and they are provided with feathers for flight. The hind limbs shows high modification and adapted for walking, running, swimming and perching depending upon their habitat. Normally, bird's skin is very dry and is devoid of dermal glands, where only one gland is present at the base of the tail called preen or uropygial gland, which secretes the oil that prevents the feathers getting wet or moist. In birds, exoskeleton is epidermal in origin and is horny. It consists of feathers covering the greater part of the body and provide insulation, waterproofing and reduce the body weight to become airborne. The legs are covered by scales and claws on toes, and beaks have covered with horny sheath. In birds, endoskeleton is known for its strength and lightness, which is actually achieved by the fusion of bones and pneumatization of bones. In birds, the endoskeleton is completely ossified, means it is bony, and the bones are spongy, delicate and light in weight, containing numerous air spaces. The long bones are pneumatic in nature without having bone marrow, contributing towards the reduction of body weight. In birds, the skull is said to be monocondylic, having single rounded occipital condyle. The cranium is large and smooth surfaced. All the skull bones are thin and fused, hence the sutures are found indistinct. In birds, the lower jaw composed of 5 or 6 bones, and modern birds have no teeth where they possess only a horny beak. In birds, the vertebral column is short and the body or center of vertebrae are heterocylous in condition, and the cervical vertebrae are many in number and possess reduced pointed cervical ribs. They possess large compound bone called synsacrum, which is formed by the fusion of last thoracic, lumbars, sacral and few caudal vertebrae, which is found fused with pelvic girdle for support to hind limbs. The postcaudal vertebrae are fused to form a pygostyle to support tail feathers. The breastbone or sternum is one of the largest bones of a bird's endoskeleton and is a part of pectoral girdle. It is broad and consists of a convex or concave basal plate and a longitudinal midventral keel for the attachment of flight muscles. Birds are the only vertebrates to have fused collarbones and keeled breastbone. In the pectoral girdle, both the clavicles and a single interclavicle are fused to form a V-shaped furcula or collarbone or the wishbone, which strengthens the thoracic skeleton to withstand the rigors of flight. In birds, the vertebral ribs are double-headed and provided with uncinate process which serves as sites of attachment for flight muscles and function as a protective case, as well as facilitating the easy movement of air through the air sacs. Birds are very active animals, flying in their freedom of movement, which is brought by their flight muscles. In birds, flight muscles are powerful muscles and they are of two types called pectoralis major, which are large and connected to lower side head of humerus and keel of sternum, which bring about downstroke by contracting, hence also known as depressor muscles. The other type is pectoralis minor, which arise from the sternum and connected to dorsal side of humerus that bring about upstroke by contracting. Hence, they are also known as elevator muscles. Picture depicts the complete internal anatomy of a bird. Digestive system. Birds have a highly efficient and simplified digestive system and is said to be complete and is found associated with digestive glands. Birds are said to be edentulous, which means they have no teeth in their mouth. The mouth leads to esophagus or gullet, which is a dilated structure called crop, which temporarily stores the food. In birds, stomach has two portions, a glandular portion known as the proventriculus, which secretes the digestive juices and enzymes for the digestion of food. The other portion of stomach is a muscular gizzard in which the food is crushed and grinded into small pieces. The stomach leads to small intestine where the complete digestion and absorption of food takes place. Later, the small intestine leads to caeca and rectum through which the undigested food carried and it is eliminated through cloaca. Cloaca is actually a three-chambered structure which is both excretory and reproductive in function. Respiratory system is very well developed in birds and it facilitates efficient gas exchange. It consists of paired lungs which contain static structures with surfaces for gas exchange. The lungs are spongy, non-distensible and are continuous into thin-walled air sacs which expand and contract causing air to move through the static lungs. The alveoli are completely absent in birds. There are 9 air sacs. The unpaired are called interclavicular and paired one are clavicle, anterior and posterior thoracic and abdominal air sacs, which are named on their position. In birds, the trachea is large and coiled, which is divided into right and left bronchi. There is a specialized structure called syrinx, which is present at the junction between trachea and bronchi, from which the voice or sound is produced in birds, whereas larynx is without vocal cords. Birds have high temperatures and high metabolic rates, which is actually supported by the well developed lungs and air sacs, which supplies high levels of oxygen needed for the high rate of metabolism and the hard working flight muscles. This contributes to endothermy in birds. In birds, the circulatory system is said to be complete and double circulation. The heart is large and four chambered. It consists of two auricles and two ventricles with complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, where the sinus venosus and truncus arteriosus are completely absent and only the right aortic arch is present in the adult. In birds, the renal portal system is reduced and become vestigial. The red blood corpuscles or erythrocytes are oval in shape, nucleated, and they are biconvex in nature, contains high amount of hemoglobin to bind more with oxygen to meet the demand. In birds, the cardiovascular system not only supplies oxygen to body cells but also maintain body temperature. Coming to excretory system. The excretory system is more efficient and lightweight. It consists of a pair of metanephric kidneys, which are three-lobed structures and connected to the ureters, which directly opens into cloaca, where the urinary bladder is completely absent except in ostrich. This avoids the storage of waste and also reduce the body weight. Birds are said to be uricotelic animals, where they convert nitrogenous waste into a harmless concentrated uric acid and is eliminated frequently along with undigested food through cloaca. In birds, nervous system is very well developed. The brain is large and smooth, covered by two meninges, outer dura mater and inner pia arachnoid. The cerebrum is large and completely divided into two cerebral hemispheres. And cerebellum is also large and well developed, which are important for coordinating muscular movements and body balance in birds. Optic lobes are large and birds have good sense of sight, whereas olfactory lobes are very poorly developed and birds have poor sense of smell. The brain of bird is connected to 12 pairs of cranial nerves. In birds, sense organs consists of a pair of large eyes possessing nictitating membrane and sclerotic plates which maintain the shape of eyes. There is a specialized comb-shaped structure in the retina called pectin which enhance the sharp vision in birds up to 8 times keener than human vision, and each eye moves independently and shows both monocular and binocular vision in birds. Birds also possess external ear openings along with middle and internal ear. Coming to reproduction in birds. In birds, both male and female are separate and sexual dimorphism is well marked. The male reproductive system consists of a pair of abdominal testes and a pair of vas deferens, and all males lack copulatory organ except geese, swans, and flightless birds. In birds, phallus or seminal vesicle is absent. Hence, the sperms are temporarily stored in proctotum, which is a small compartment within the cloaca prior to copulation. In females, only left ovary and left oviduct are functional, whereas right ovary and right oviduct are more or less completely atrophied, or it is called reduced or absent. This contributes in reducing the body weight. In birds, fertilization takes place internally and they are oviparous, lays megalethal and clidoic eggs, which means eggs with large amount of yolk in it and well protected by calcareous hard shell. Development takes place directly without undergoing any larval stages, and birds are said to be amniotes where 4 extra embryonic membranes appear during embryo development for the nourishment and growth of young ones inside the eggshell. In birds, parental care is remarkable and is more intense when the young ones are still in the nest after hatching out from the eggs. Students, in this class we tried to explore and learn more about birds, particularly emphasizing on their general characters. And in the exam, this may be asked for either 10 marks or 5 marks. Thank you.